Hello. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, entertainment, or sleep, and maybe even just be here to comfort you along the way. Hi, today is our favorite time of the day, at least for me, because I love making this kind of ASMR video for you, and that is yet another imagination personality test. I believe this is a Cocology style imagination personality test, which essentially it's all the same thing I've been doing. So these are like scenario-based personality tests where I have you imagine a scenario and then I ask you what's going on, and then after we analyze your answers. We've done a lot of these, so if you're like, okay, I know what to do, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I prepare any new visitors for this kind of test because it's really fun. So, we're going to go through this scenario. I'm going to ask you questions, and then after I will reveal what your answers mean. But I'll also reveal what my answers mean too, so that's fun. Now, I found this test. It's not that long, but the answers seem pretty in-depth to me. I haven't read through anything because I want to take the test with you. So, while I'm reading this test for you, I'll be reading it for me too. I have it here on my phone. Essentially, this is going to be called, I guess, the wave personality test because it has a lot to do with beaches and water and things like that, and I see it's called something like the wave, so the wave imagination personality test. So before we begin, I'm going to read you a little preface that they have here, so they just give you a little introduction into this particular test, which I think is pretty cool. So it says, perhaps it's because we instinctively trace the roots of life back to the oceans. Perhaps it's something hardwired deep within our brains. Whatever the reason may be, the sea holds a special power over us. I think that's true. The tang of salt air, the fine spray of the surf, and the soft crashing of the waves. The net effect is to stimulate and soothe. Sometimes a stroll along a sandy beach can transport you much farther from your everyday reality than the actual distance you walk. Wow. That may be why the sea holds a special place in lovers' hearts. It provides them with the chance to journey together, if only for a brief time, into another world. So I really like this, and I wanted to read this to you because I think this hints at what the test is going to be about, and it gets you in the mood. So let's start taking this test. Relax, 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 relax. And I would like you to answer instinctually. So make sure you're in a quiet, relaxing environment and that you can really focus on what I'm asking you. Put yourself in this scenario and then please answer instinctually. So go with the first thought that enters your mind, even if it doesn't make any sense. I overthink, so this is a reminder for me as well. Now let's take this personality test. The first thing I would like you to imagine, you are walking along a quiet beach. As you wander the dunes, you spot a surfboard washed up on the sand. Imagine this surfboard that is washed up on the sand. Picture it in your mind. Describe the surfboard and the impression it makes on you. So you're walking along a quiet beach, wandering the dunes, and you spot a surfboard washed up on the sand. What impression did this make on you? And please, picture the surfboard in your mind, okay? Picture what it looks like, maybe the color, the size, the condition, etc. So just imagine this surfboard, okay? Okay. Next, you climb onto the surfboard and you paddle out to try your luck on the waves. How are the conditions for surfing today? So, you climb onto the surfboard that you found and you paddle out to try your luck on the waves. How are the conditions for surfing? How is the weather? How is the water? Just imagine the overall conditions. Is it calm? Are there waves? Was it difficult? Is it easy? Is it relaxing? Just imagine this in your mind. Just imagine yourself on the surfboard. How are the conditions for surfing? Next, you have managed to get to your feet and are experiencing the thrill of actually riding the wave, when suddenly you wipe out and tumble head first into the water. Head first. You crash. You are on the top riding the waves and then plummeting. What do you think, feel, or try to scream as you struggle to find your way back to the surface? So from going head first into the water, what are you thinking, feeling? Are you screaming? Are you struggling? Is it easy to get back? Is it difficult? Just imagine the scenario. You've fallen off the surfboard and you must get back up. How does that make you feel? What are you thinking, feeling? What are you saying or not saying? Imagine this. You finally emerge from the water unscathed, and looking back towards the beach, you see that a person you know has been watching you. Who is that person? So finally you're back on the shore after your little surfing fiasco or adventure, and you look back towards the beach and you see a person you know has been watching you. Maybe watching over you, maybe not, but who is that person that you saw? The first person that came to your mind, who was it? Complete. Let's find out our answers. What did this mean for us? So there's a little preface as well before I read what the answers mean. And this says, the key to this wave personality test says, most of us sense intuitively the strong psychological associations between the sea and sex. The way you imagined your experience on the waves tells us something about your expectations and desires in the sexual realm. To be honest, I didn't know this was so risque, so I'm excited to find out our answers. Question 1. When I asked you about walking along the quiet beach, wandering the dunes, and finding the surfboard, let's see what this says. This goes into detail, so this is nice. It says, throughout history and across cultures, the sea is portrayed as feminine. Against that backdrop, the surfboard provides an overt example of what Freud referred to as a phallic symbol. Women, your description of the surfboard corresponds with your image and impression of masculine sexual characteristics. Men, your answer shows your perception of your own physical sexuality. Okay, so for example, if you said it's just like every other surfboard out there, you've seen one, you've seen them all. Either you haven't seen enough surfboards or you've seen far too many. If you said it is a monster wooden longboard, freshly waxed and gleaming with a red stripe up the middle, thanks for sharing, but that's just a little more than any of us wanted to know. If you said it's a sad-looking, beaten-up old board that no one wants anymore, don't rush to judgment. Who knows, a little wax and a little buffing, and that old board might look as good as new. So just to preface, this gives you examples, but it doesn't specifically say what the color means or what have you. But what we can glean from this is that your description of the surfboard corresponds with your image and impression of masculine sexual characteristics. And that was for a woman. If you are a man, your answer shows your perception of your own physical sexuality. This is interesting. It's a little bit biased because it doesn't take into account other identities that we might have and so on, but we're just going to go with this for now. So my answers for number 1 were, I think I saw a nice surfboard. I think it was like blue. I can't remember. It was like maybe blue and like tanned, and it was just really pretty. And it looked like it was in pretty good condition. So I don't know. It corresponds with your image and impression of masculine sexual characteristics. I mean, I think it was like a typical surfboard. Nothing like outlandishly different, but it was quite big. I don't know. That feels so awkward to say now. Okay, next. Number 2. So, remember I had you climb onto the board and paddle out to try your luck along the waves, and I asked, how are the conditions of surfing today? So, number 2, it says, the surfing conditions you described reveal your own hopes and expectations from sex. So, it gives you examples here. It says, in quotes, the water is warm and inviting. Wave after wave breaks softly on the beach. That's enough to put anyone in the mood. That's what it says. Next it says, the water is a little chilly and there's not a wave in sight. Don't worry, there will be other days and other chances. Maybe today you can just snuggle up in a beach blanket. The next it gives you an example saying, tower surf, a 50-foot tsunami, cowabunga baby. Down boy, heel. That's literally what this says. So basically, the surfing conditions you described reveal your own hopes and expectations from sex. Okay, so I imagined that for some reason I didn't picture the temperature of the water at all. I don't know what that says about me. It just didn't come to mind. I pictured the light of day to be sort of like sunset-ish, so it looked pretty, and I pictured like some waves so that you can kind of like, of course, attempt to surf, but it wasn't like overly wavy and uncomfortable. I personally like when there's not so many waves when I'm in the water, but for surfing, I tried to imagine more waves on purpose to go with this scenario. So what does that say? It was inviting for me for sure. I don't know, but it wasn't like crazy waves that I'm just like riding all day. I don't know. So far I'm finding these answers a little bit vague, but it's funny that they give you exact quotes so that you can imagine. So essentially, this reveals your own hopes and expectations from sex. Maybe mine was like somewhere in the middle. I don't know, but it was pleasant for me. I don't know what that means. Okay, number 3. So, in question 3, I said, you have managed to get to your feet and are experiencing the thrill of actually riding the wave. When suddenly you wipe out and tumble head first, what do you think, feel, or try to scream? This says total submersion within the churning waters is a metaphor for the peak of sexual pleasure. Your thoughts and feelings as you struggled upward correspond to those you experience in the throes of ecstasy. Here are the examples. Oh damn, I almost made it that time. I was so close. I take it you were expecting something more from the experience. Help, somebody please help me. I can't breathe. Hopefully somebody around here knows mouth to mouth. Hey, this isn't so bad. I think I'll just stay down here and have a swim around until the wave passes. Don't get too comfortable down there. You're going to have to come up for air sometime. What the heck? These are so strange. Okay, so total submersion is a metaphor for the peak of sexual pleasure. Your thoughts and feelings as you struggled upward correspond to those you experience in the throes of ecstasy. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was just imagining that I had a feeling I would eventually fall because I'm not particularly good at surfing, so maybe it was bias, but I didn't feel scared at all. I just had a feeling that I would fall and that I was excited to come up to the surface and breathe. I don't know what that means. I don't know. It wasn't a fear. It was more like I don't want to say like anticipation. I wasn't anticipating falling necessarily. I just knew it would happen and that I would be able to come up no problem. And to be honest, I sort of felt a calmness while I was in the water. It didn't scare me. I felt like I imagined the bubbles and not being able to necessarily hear, and it was kind of like a peaceful experience. But there was like the rush of getting to the top. I don't know. Next, number 4. Remember I said that you emerge from the water and you see a person you know has been watching you. It says, the person you pictured standing on the beach is someone you show intense interest in a sexual sense. Hopefully you didn't picture your mom or somebody like that. This doesn't necessarily indicate active sexual desire. It may be that you're simply curious about what that person is like in the most intimate and unguarded of moments. Then again, maybe, just maybe, that's something you want to find out firsthand. Was the person you named your current lover or a secret love interest? That shouldn't be too hard to accept. But then there are always those who name a member of the same sex, a cousin, their dentist, etc. Don't worry, your secrets are safe with us. Well, this is presumptuous because maybe you are interested in a member of the same sex, so I don't like how this is phrased necessarily, but let's just go with it. Of course, you can perhaps name somebody you care for without it being sexual. I wonder if you mention a family member and that makes you a little bit grossed out. I don't know. I personally pictured my fiance, so for me, this makes sense. Did you picture somebody that surprised you? Please share your answers. I would love to know, especially the answer for number 4. So, this was the Wave Imagination Personality Test. I felt like this was different to our usual personality tests in the sense that the answers were a little bit vague, although they were descriptive in explaining things before and after, and they gave even examples. I felt that it was vague in the sense that maybe you imagined a yellow surfboard. What does that even mean? It doesn't even give you examples. So I think we'll have to do our own deep diving and just assume that certain things correspond to what they're saying. So, for example, if you chose a yellow surfboard and yellow is your favorite color, maybe that's a good thing and that's all it has to mean, you know? Who knows? But I hope you enjoyed this, and at the very least, I hope that this could relax you. I think some of you really love these and find them so accurate, and some of you just enjoy being taken on this journey. It's sort of like a meditative, relaxing journey, so I enjoy a bit of both, I will be honest. I love finding out the meaning after, but I do enjoy just along the way relaxing with you all, and I always find this to be quite fun. So, that was our imagination personality test. I'm always on the lookout for more tests, and they're always so fun to do with you all, so thank you so much. If you are someone who shares your answers, they're always so fun to read, and I do appreciate it. If you don't feel comfortable sharing all your answers, maybe just share one, or maybe just share if you found this accurate or not, and we can just have some fun. I shared my answers, but I'm still not sure what they mean exactly. This one left me a bit puzzled, I will say, so hopefully the next one is a little bit better. But thank you so much for being here with me today. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate your support and your love and just everything. I just appreciate everything about this community. I love all of the engagement. I love getting to know you all. I love the interactions. I just love you guys so much. You're the best. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully this could relax you or comfort you. And just remember, if you found this completely inaccurate, these tests are just for fun, so don't worry too much. Take care. Bye-bye. Happy relaxation, or just sweet